I feel that we have many roles as parents, but when I think about like the three key roles, and this is adapted from the work of Dr. Becky, it's to, like, on a daily basis, uh, place loving limits um, for my son's well-being, to validate him, to validate what he's feeling, what he's experiencing, so he feels seen and heard, and to have empathy. Now, to be able to set loving limits, to be able to validate young people, and to be able to really practice empathy, we need to be present with our full presence. And yet, there is so much vying for our attention these days. So cultivating a practice of mindfulness, I think, is essential to really supporting our parenting journey. So what is mindful parenting? I'm going to offer a definition that comes from my friends, John and Mila, who I had the opportunity actually many years ago to organize the mindful parenting session when I was living in India with them. And they define it as the practice of being present and aware in everyday interactions with children through paying attention without judgment as each moment unfolds. And from this definition, well, let me just pause here for a second. When we think about, being present with our full presence, I wanted to also bring into the space these four questions that the late, great Dr. Maya Angelou felt that we were unconsciously asking each other at all times. Do you see me? Do you care that I'm here? Am I enough for you, or do you need for me to be better in some way? And can I tell that I'm special to you by the way you look at me? And so just taking these in for a moment. And again, we can't answer these questions if we're not present with our full presence. Now, that definition of mindful parenting that I shared earlier, I want to also lift up this character, Chinese character for mindfulness from Thich Nhat Hanh. And there are two characters. The one on top represents now, and the one on the bottom represents the mind. But in a lot of Asian languages, we know that the heart and the mind actually have the same word. So it is this quality of heartfulness that we are bringing into the moment, right? It's not up here. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about how if one hand was representing our body and one hand was representing our mind, then our mind and body, when we practice mindfulness, come together and establish us in the present moment. And so this mindful parenting model that was developed based on the initial work of John and Mila Kabat-Zinn has 5 dimensions. And we're going to briefly go through each one. But like I mentioned, we could spend years going through this model. And there's folks out there like Daniel who could take you a lot deeper over a longer journey. Just going to introduce it tonight for us. But they consist of listening with our full attention, non-judgmental acceptance of self and child, emotional awareness of self and child, self-regulation in the parenting relationship, and compassion for self and child.